Hello friends and welcome to the advanced topic of the Terraform. So today we are going to discuss on the Terraform import functionality. So in the import functionality we are going to discuss what is the enhancement that Terraform did for the import. Terraform import functionality. We are going to discuss about how the previous import functionality is working and now how the enhanced import functionality works. So Terraform introduced a major change in the Terraform import functionality that the entire community was waiting for many years. Due to these small features, or you can say the important features, Terraform is again in high demand and is the most popular IAC tool in the market nowadays. So how the Terraform import functionality work in the older approach? Suppose first, if you don't know about the import functionality, let me brief you. Suppose this is your AWS environment, okay, where you created some resources like EC2, S3. These all are created manually. So import functionality is to import all the resources to manage it by the Terraform. Okay, so we use the Terraform import command. Okay, so whatever the resources you previously creating manually, now you want to manage it by the Terraform. So you use the import functionality. So you created the EC2 instance S3 which is created manually before. Now you want the Terraform to manage it. Okay, so you use the Terraform import functionality. But in that case, this is the older approach. So in that case, what will happen? It will only update the Terraform TF state file. This file is only updated. And what about the resources file, the ec2.tf? What about the s3.tf? You have to manage it. You have to write all the configurations what you have in the currently in the AWS environment by looking into the state file. What is updated after importing the resources from the AWS environment to your local environment, to your managed environment, by looking into the state file. So this works for the 10 resources or you can say the 20 resources. We can do that. But you can think about the real industry environment where we have 1000, you can say 5000. This is very common to have the resources of this number. So are you going to write all the TF file? For 10 resources it can be done. But think about the real scenario where you have to deal with the 1000 or 5000 resources. So this is the very tedious task. Industry show difficulty in choosing the Terraform and interested in doing or managing the resources manually. Industry thinks that I have 5000 resources. I'm not going to write all the Terraform state file manually. Then why to choose the Terraform? This is the big challenge for the Terraform to resolve. And Terraform is working since many years to resolve this problem. Because the industry is not showing interest toward the Terraforms. Because main focus is to bring all the company to manage the resources using the Terraform. So in the versions 1.5 onwards, Terraform resolved this. And again, the industry start picking the Terraform as a IAC tool to manage the resources. Okay, so what happened if you see now the real picture? Suppose you have the AWS environment, okay, and before using the Terraform, industry is creating the EC2 instance manually, S3, SG, whatever the resources, okay, by using the new functionality of the Terraform. When you use the Terraform import, this time the Terraform is not only updating the state file, tf state file, it's also creating the ec2.tf, s3.tf, sg.tf, all the resources. If you have the 5000 resources, by using the single command after 1.5 version, Terraform is creating the tf file for all the resources. You don't have to take the burden to create all the tf file for all the resources. So this functionality of import now dramatically reduce the amount of time you need to spend writing the code to match the import. And this version is available from the version 1.5 onwards. From 1.5 to whatever 1.5.1, currently 1.7 is the latest version of the Terraform. So you can think that how the Terraform import command functionality, which is enhanced by the Terraform itself, brings a dramatically reduced the amount of time you need to spend to write the code. So in the practical, we are going to pick any of the one resources. Okay, we will do the modifications manually, and using the Terraform import, we will bring into the Terraform to manage itself by the Terraform, and after that we will do the changes also. So I will pick the security groups, we will add some rules, ingress rules, and then we will import it. And you can see that the state file is also getting changed, and that one new sg.terraform file is getting created. And if we change it anything in the terraform.tf file which is created by the Terraform import command, the changes will reflect again into the sg group which is on the AWS. So you can understand that now the sg group is a security group is managing by the Terraform. So now jumping to the lab session for demonstration. So this is my AWS console. Okay, I am connected with the Mumbai region. So what we are going to do currently, we are going to create a resources. Okay, this is the resource that I am going to create manually. So I am picking the security group for this because this is an easy way to handle it. Create, because I have to modify also after when the Terraform start managing the things. So it will be very nice to use the security groups. Let's name it as a manual SG, because we are creating it as a manually. Okay, description is also manual. And for the inbound rules, let add for the 80 port. Okay, and for this I am using any IP. Okay, this one. Okay, and again add one more rule for the 443, allow HTTP, and this one is again the custom one to allow all the HTTPS. Okay, again one for the SSH 443, I think, yes. For the SSH 22 will be the port, and from my IP. Okay, whatever the IP currently I have. Okay, allow my IP. Okay, now save this security group. So when you create a security group, you have a security ID that we are going to use. Okay, for this. If you look into the Terraform, so we are going to generate the configuration out using this particular flag, generate a config out, and the syntax you can see that we have to provide what is the resources. So in this case AWS instance, and what you want a local name to have, example. Okay, so and then you have to provide one important thing regarding the ID, what ID you created. So I am using the security group, so I am going to use the AWS security groups. Okay, and the local, whatever the name you required, you want. In my case I am just write it as a mysg. Okay, so I am using this import command. Okay, so the resource is created. Whenever it's required, I will take the security group ID, and accordingly we use it. So we have one folder, you can see that we have one import folder. Okay, no file is there, so I create a one Terraform file name import. Okay, so I create one Terraform file, and what we are going to write in, we are going to use a provider as AWS provider. Which provider? AWS. Okay, and we are going to provide the reason as well, in which reason we are going to manage the resources, which is AP South 1 Mumbai region. Okay, so if you look into this, I am currently connected with the Mumbai region and the AP South 1. Okay, now the provider part is completed. Now what we are going to use, we are going to import, we are going to use the import functionality. But before that, let's check the version. So you can see that my version is above 1.5. So this the latest functionality which we are discussing in this video is supported. Okay, so first check the version. It should be greater than or equal to 1.5. In my case it's 1.7, so above the 1.5 version. Okay, so I check the version. Now I am going to use the 2 and ID. This only two value it takes. So in the 2, what we are going to which resource we are going to import, the security group. So you can see that in the security groups we have to use AWS security groups. So I am just going to copy it. And how we have to write it? So if you import it, you have to write without any quotes. So AWS security groups, and then whatever the local name you want to use. In this case AWS instance is getting imported. In my case I am using the AWS security groups. That's why I am mentioning here the AWS security groups. Let me paste it, AWS security group. And what is the local name that you want to use? In my case mysg. Okay, so this is fine. And now what is the ID? So ID will be in the double quotes as mentioned. If you look into this ID, we have to put into the double quotes. Okay, so I am going to copy it and use it in the Terraform file. Okay, so this part is complete. So that's only thing we required. We are importing one AWS security groups to manage it by the Terraform. So we passed all the informations to the Terraform, and we provided the AWS we are using as a provider. Okay, so first we have to initialize it. Terraform. So it will start initializing the background first, then start downloading the plugins, and then start initializing for it. So it will pick the latest AWS provided plugins versions, because I didn't provide any restrictions for this. So it will, when you not provide any informations regarding the version, then it will pick the latest one. For details on this, you can look into my Terraform topics video, where I have around 24-25 videos, and also I created one long video of 9 hours in the Terraform. So you can watch it for the more clarity on the Terraform topics. Okay, so when I initialize it, I will write a Terraform plan. Okay, before that I have to look into what the changes Terraform is going to take place. So the Terraform plan is very helpful for this. uh, Terraform plan. Okay, and we have to use this this command, which flag we have to use, generate config out. Okay, and then we have to provide the name of the file. So generate, okay, hope the spelling is correct, generate config and out, where we have to write the name like mysg. So we will instruct Terraform to create a TF file with this name and put all the SG related configuration into this file. So it will create the Terraform state file. You can see here the state file is not exist here, but when we run the command, the Terraform state file will come, and when we apply it, then it will reflect all the changes in the Terraform file also, and Terraform state file also. We will review it. So you can see that Terraform state file gets created, but we have some problem with the securities. So we are going to execute one command for this. You don't have to do it. In my system there is some problem with it. You don't have to run it. If you have faced this types of retrieving the caller identifier from STS, then you can execute this command. Otherwise it's not required. So you can see that it's bring all the configurations whatever we did. So for the egress we didn't change anything. So if you look into the egress, if you go for the outbound rule, you can find that we allow all the traffic for the outbound. We didn't change anything. For inbounds we added the 3 rules. So you can find all the rules in this ingress part. So we, for the HTTP traffic, allow HTTP at T port, for the HTTPS 443, and for the SSH from my IP, allow my IP. So whatever informations we used it to create the SG manually, now it's managed by the Terraform. So before applying, it's not managed by the Terraform, but when we apply the changes, then all the things will be managed by the Terraforms. So if I show you what is going, so it's importing one file. Okay, and what file? It's all the informations whatever we have created manually, it's importing for the security groups. Okay, so now I am going to apply it. Terraform apply. I am putting auto approve, but this command is very dangerous. If you see and you find that this is safe, then only you can execute it. So once it get completed, so now that SG file is managed by the Terraform. So you can see here the mysg file which you already seen before, and now the state file. The state file will bring all the informations to manage the security groups, manual SG, the same description, and all the inbound rules, whatever the 3 inbound rules I added, it is now here. Now what we are going to use, we are just going to use for all the CIDR blocks for the security groups port 22 SSH. Currently it's the CIDR block I am using my PC. Now I am going to change it. From where? From the state file. I am not doing anything manually for that particular SG group from AWS console. The SG file is created by the Terraform, and I am modifying that file only to apply my changes. So we committed, we saved this file. Now if you look into the Terraform plan only, okay, we don't need to use that generate and all these things now, because we bring the resources into Terraform to manage it. So if you look into the plan again, so what you find, one changes. Terraform is going to apply one changes, and what these changes is, just go on to the top, Terraform plan. So you can find the tilde icon here. So this means that update in place. This question asked in the Terraform's exam, certification exams. So what it's going to do, you can see the red marks. It's deleting the complete rules for the SSH. where we are passing the my IP address, and it's going to add one rule with all the IP open for all the traffics with the port 22. So this is the change. If you want Terraform apply without auto approve, then it will ask you for the confirmations. This is the safer way, and you have to do a practice to use this step only, not the auto approve. So you can verify the things again. Okay, it's applying one changes only, so you are safe, because sometimes the Terraform is very dangerous, you can say. The apply completed. Okay, the apply completed. My SG file I already updated. A state file will bring all the state, the current information. So for my IP, the CIDR range is changed. If you look into the console, let me refresh it, or maybe I will go back in the security groups, and for the manual SG, this is the SG that we created. Okay, if you go to the inbound, and if you go to the edit, then you will find that the port, the IP is now changed for the port 22. This one, not this one. This is for the 443 HTTPS. So here we have the allow my IP. You can change this also from the manage. So the main thing is that now the Terraform is managing the SG. So you can see that then this helps the industry. Okay, and this is again, I'm saying that this is the dramatically changes for reducing the amount of time you need to spend writing the codes. This brings the industry again the interest towards the Terraform, that because they have a huge amount of resources that they are managing manually, and they didn't interested, and this is the very tedious manual error happens to write all the Terraform files for all the resources. So that's it for this video. If you like my video, gives me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you didn't subscribe yet. This always motivate me. Thanks for watching this channel. Have a nice day.